Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video, and this is a paid request from Ryan. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, whether it be a random thought, stream, commentary, video game playthrough, review, re-review, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is for Who Can Kill a Child from 1976, which I know Ryan mentioned something about this reminding him of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't really see it. I guess they're both 70s films, but it's a film that there are people who do like it because they like the slow burn. They feel it's creepy. Like a very slow burn. It takes like 50 minutes for things to really get cooking. This wasn't for me. It wasn't my cup of tea. It's one of those things where, first off, the first 7 or 8 minutes that's showing documentary footage of Auschwitz, because talking about how kids were experimented on and stuff, I don't need to see real footage of Auschwitz or stuff happening in Nigeria, civil wars. It goes on for like 7 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. I said, I don't need to see this shit, man. I really don't. I don't know if that was necessary. Now, it does have this creepy demeanor of kind of the credits of these kind of kids laughing, kind of associated with the music motif. I'd give you that. That could create a little bit of a creep factor to it. Now, the setup is you have this couple. One of them is pregnant. The guy and the girl, they are over here around Spain just to enjoy. They have some kids back home. And they're like, you know what, there's a lot of activity here. Let's go to someplace a bit more quiet. So they're going to go to this island. Apparently the guy, I think, been to the island like a decade or so ago. When they get to the island, seems the only people they see are kids there, but mostly deserted. They kind of just wander around the place. They see a little kid here and they look at him weird. They see a little girl who looks at the lady's pregnant stomach strangely. After a lot of wandering, they see something going on and they realize this girl beat this guy to death with his cane. He doesn't want to tell his lady because he doesn't want her to freak out, so he takes the body, puts it somewhere, gotta figure out what to do. One leads to another, goes back and finds out that the kids actually took the body, they hung it upside down, and now they're hitting it like a piñata. So now he's even more freaked out. One leads to another. Sometimes they get these phone calls by someone who sounds very frantic, but can't understand what they're saying. They see this other older guy who's got like a broken bottle. They're able to calm down and explain a little bit of what's going on, what's happening. Eventually that guy sees his own daughter, goes with his own daughter. When they turn the corner, the couple hears the guy screaming. And then pretty much you find out that these kids are batshit insane, they're crazy. They don't explain exactly what happened. Whether it was the experiments, like they mentioned Auschwitz, or some other type of insanity. There's definitely some supernatural stuff going on too, because these kids can look at another kid and kind of hypnotize, put them in a trance, where now they are psycho kids as well. So there's not really any explanation as to why that's happening, and it's pretty much this couple trying to figure out how to escape the island while these kids are going crazy. Now, before I go on to spoilers, It is a very slow burn, like I said, and I'll repeat. It takes about 50 minutes before things really get going. You can maybe have some atmosphere with hearing, kids' laughter or the way the kids kind of look. At times they kind of look not over the top scary, but kind of nonchalant. The couple, they don't do a horrible job. I don't know if this is true, but I read that the director at one point wanted Anthony Hopkins for the lead. That would have been interesting. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I read up on. But they did fine, nothing amazing or anything, but they did fine in their performances. And I just see like people in 1972 looking at this where it wasn't often where you had kids murdering people in movies. I mean, you had the zombie girl in Night of the Living Dead, but like actual kids, it's not something you saw every day. So you could see this and go, wow, this seems unique. Granted, nowadays, when there's been, 85 fucking Children of the Corn movies, which I haven't seen most of them, to be honest. I've seen the first, the second, the third, and I think the remake. I think those are the only ones I saw. I remember not minding the first Children. I'll be honest, I like the first Children of the Corn. I actually don't mind. I do not mind it. I don't mind the actors, especially the Malachi and was it Isaac? And as goofy as it is, where it looks like a giant fucking gopher, I don't mind some of the bits in the end. And I actually like the music in Children of the Corn. Like I said, I don't mind the first one. It's not a classic or anything. I don't put a top best list, but I like it. I would say I like that more than this because I moved at a faster pace, and I like the couple because it's Peter Horton and Linda Hamilton. Not their finest hour, but I'm familiar with those actors. I like those actors. Peter Horton, I remember from this show Brimstone. Sadly, did not become a full show, but Brimstone was cool for how little it was on. And of course, Linda Hamilton, The Terminator. Yeah, not their finest hour, but I like those actors and didn't mind them in that. So I just got more to talk about, more to enjoy. Because I don't really get creeped out by killer kid films. I don't. Because I looked at the kid, I would just punch him in the face. Well, there's a ton of them. Well, there's going to be a lot of tons of punches and tons of faces. And tons of tits and tons of derrieres. And tons of fucking field goal posts being filled when I kicked him through the field goal and I set him on fire. So, that's just how it's going to be if that's the case. If it's between me living and, I'm going to live. These kids are going down. So I'm not scared of kids. I'm not scared of killer kids. So it's hard for me to get afraid of what's going on. Because like they're weak. Just one punch and they just, there you go. I guess that's just my own psycho mind detailing that. But, there are films I like. I mean, The Good Son, I enjoyed that film. The Children that came out, I think, 1980? I remember not minding that one. And there's been others as well. I mean, it's not the same, but you had the Lord of the Flies story, things of that nature. But the idea is that, as the title suggests, who can get into the mindset of killing a child, which ultimately the lead guy has to do at least a little bit. In fact, when they're being chased and they're being cornered, when he finally does kill one of them, it kind of calms things down for a bit, until they figure out what to do next. Now, the way the film is shot, there's definitely some nice, ominous moments. Like there's this woman that they find, and she tries to help them out, and her kids are normal, but then her kids meet the other kids, and they become possessed. How the hell you want to put it? So there's a shot where the woman's looking, and the camera pans, and as it pans, you see in the back a bunch of kids on these cliffs, either looking down or climbing down. As that oh shit sort of moment of realization for the viewer of, right behind this woman's shoulder, but she doesn't realize it. So I thought that was an effective reveal. Obviously, that 70s type of filmmaking, which maybe that's why Ryan mentioned Texas Chainsaw, but other than it being a 70s movie, that's the only connection it really has to that. Get more into spoilers. Apparently when that girl looked at the pregnant woman's stomach, I guess it possessed the unborn baby too. And it's nothing graphic. It's not like you see the baby like clawing through or something. It's just she's reacting. She knows something's wrong. Blood's coming out. And she apologizes, says, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's interesting that most of the scene is from the guy's shoulder. Okay, imagine if I'm turned around and facing the other way, and the camera's right behind my shoulder, looking down at her, and you just see kind of her face kind of leave the camera. I don't know what it is, just something interesting about doing the shot that way. Literally just her slipping away from this individual. Until eventually he has his gun. I think it's a MP40. I want to say was the type of gun he used. I want to say it was an MP40. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. And he shoots He shoots a couple of them. He shoots, I don't know, kind of like one spray and pray moment. Shoots a decent amount of them. But I guess he didn't have much bullets left and he runs. And then we're pretty much at the end already. We're really at the end of the movie. He gets to a bolt. They swarm him. He's trying to knock them back. The cops come, because of course the cops come at that point. Now, they clearly see that this guy is being swarmed by all these kids. These kids are literally all getting on top of them, and he's trying to get them away. And he's clearly yelling help, which, I mean, you could construe it as they don't understand his language, they don't understand what he's saying. But I'm sitting there going, you could clearly tell he's being swarmed by all these kids. It's not like he's going up and he's clearly being swarmed and like, leave me alone. And the cops just shoot him and kill him. Because they're stupid. I mean, you could give him like a warning shot. You could shoot him in the leg. You could shoot him in the arm. You could give a warning shot. No. I'm like, does none of these cops realize that he's being swarmed and these kids are more antagonistic, you could tell, than he is. But of course the movie has to end like it ends, so they kill the guy. The cops are stupid. And then when they get to shore, the cop turns and he sees how the kids are unloading his police boat, and a kid's looking at his gun, his rifle, and the cop's just, actually he's like this. He's just staring at the kid. He's not doing anything. I'm like, can you take the gun away from him? I'm sure you have a gun on your own. Hey, put the gun down. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't look confused. He doesn't look surprised. He doesn't look scared. He just... And then the kid kills him because he's a fucking idiot. So I guess the idea is that the kids are going to use the boat. They're going to possess more kids. give them more guns and, I don't know, take over the world, I guess. So there you go. That's the movie. Yeah, it's just one of those. I mean, I know you say I'm just more harsh on movies than other people are. You got a fair point. You do. It just, if I take this film for example, what do I personally get out of it? That's how I look at it. That's all. I don't care about how it affected the populace, the pop culture, the people at the time. I don't. To be honest, don't give a rat's ass about it. But when I look at it, okay, character-wise, couple is there. They're fine, but nothing remarkable. They're really the only two you get to know. The others you meet very, very briefly. The kids really have no dialogue, and each time they see it, it's more than not a different kid. And they don't really have dialogue or anything. And the other people they meet, it's very, very brief. Pacing, hey, there are films slow burn that I could deal with. Hell, you see the Blair Witch Project is one long slow burn, and I like that movie. The Shining, slow burn, I like that movie. You know. But yeah, this I didn't really find a whole lot of interesting things to delve into during that slow burn. The environment, I mean, it's rundown town. Maybe not too rundown, but just an empty place. And it's broad daylight, so I didn't really get, other than the silence, that's really the atmosphere I got out of it. Violence, there's a little bit of it. The remains of the old man who got caned. There's this woman that the lead guy finds a dead body. I think that was the woman that was calling, trying to contact him on the phone. When he shoots the kids, you see a couple squibs. Kind of like, he's where I'm at, but much farther back. The kids are like here facing away from the camera, and you see like the squibs come out of them. Not bad. It's funny how this film can have squibs, but a film nowadays can't. They did it in this film in 1970, what the fuck, but they can't do it nowadays. If you love downbeat endings, then this is for you. I'm not really gung-ho about downbeat endings. Some endings that give you a question mark to deal with, John Carpenter films like The Thing. But for me, I'm like, yeah. Usually, I more prefer an upbeat than downbeat endings. The cops just annoy the fuck out of me for them doing something stupid. But yeah, they're more naive, because who can mistrust a child? A child's the most innocent thing. I'm like, have you been to school? Have you noticed how your classmates, some of them, can be shitty? Are you sure you want to die on that hill? So then, with all those elements, is this a film that features humor? No, not really. Is it a film that features satire? No, not really. Themes? Maybe a theme of, because I think at one point the couple mentions how the dad at one point wanted to abort the baby. Who could kill a child, but yet, he's willing to abort the baby as if it's nothing. Is that different from the kids killing the parents willy-nilly, just like a parent could kill a fetus willy-nilly? That's really pushing it, though. Like, that's really pushing. Like, you can come up with that, but that's anorexic. Maybe not as anorexic as make it seem like. It's not Alan McBeal thin, but it's like, okay, you could kind of maybe squint and look at that, but I don't think it was really delved as deep as if they really want to go that route. Action-wise, I mean, it's not really much action per se, except when they're chased and he's got his pregnant woman's hand and they're running through the streets. He kills the one kid, she dies, then he rushes off, that finale I mentioned. So, yeah, I didn't really get anything out of this. If you did, that's cool. I mean, if I think of films from the 70s, I love Dawn of the Dead, I love Jaws, I love Alien, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I even like, I think it's Rituals. More of a thriller, but I like Rituals quite a bit. Among other films. The Night Stalker, Kolchak, Duel. So there's thrillers and horror in the 70s I like. I prefer the 80s and 90s, but, take that for what you will. So that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.